Welcome to Private Equity Perspectives, a video series featuring Cohen Resnick's private equity professionals. Claudine, what are some of the pitfalls that can hold up a deal or cause it not to close at all?
The single biggest one is an unsophisticated seller and one that is not well advised. Other areas include, from the buyer's perspective, a buyer who hasn't yet planned properly, doesn't have their financing in place, doesn't have a diligence team laid out, doesn't have a real strategy towards taking the deal to close.
Claudine, when you say unsophisticated seller, can you explain what you mean?
It's an entrepreneur who's maybe grown a business, he's running a lifestyle business or maybe a larger business and really doesn't understand what's involved in selling a business. They don't have an advisor alongside them. Typically, they spend their money in marketing and client service and growing the business, but don't spend money in the back office around accounting and financial and some of the other areas, which from a buyer's perspective are critical in terms of understanding the business.
Do you find that the problems are typically on the buyer side or on the seller side?
I think it's a combination of both. As I said, an unsophisticated seller is difficult. We have a transaction now, a seller who wasn't in the market, was approached by a private equity group, is agreed to sell. He has no advisor, external advisor. He doesn't have good legal representation. His accounting and financial is subpar. And we're having difficulty in getting the deal to close.
So what can private equity firms do to get to that certainty of close?
There are several areas that they should focus on. One of those is the letter of intent. The letter of intent really forms the backbone for the transaction detail and the terms of the deal. By not being specific, one will then potentially encounter issues when it comes to drafting a purchase agreement. So identifying areas as to the purchase price, any earn-out provisions, the working capital target, employment agreements for the seller. If you are able to iron those out at the LOI phase, then I think it helps a lot towards getting the deal to close. The seller knows more of what to expect, and the buyer has a clear understanding of what they need to do.